I want y'all to meet Amanda. And well, Amanda's got some things she just wants to get off her chest. Go ahead, Amanda. The floor is all yours.
Y'all sitting here complaining about not getting your food stamps. Well, you shouldn't.
And why is that, Amanda? Why shouldn't they be complaining about not getting their food stamps?
We, the taxpayers, should be getting food assistance. We're the ones that work our butts off for that money that you sit on your ass and don't do a damn thing for.
I fully agree. We should all be getting food stamps. You see, people on food stamps, EBT, or anything on that manner, they also work. They pay taxes too. Y'all got this common misconception that they don't work, when in reality, they do. A majority of them work full-time hours. They just get shit pay. A lot of people get food stamps because cost of living is higher, but the wages that you're getting paid at your jobs don't cut it. They're not just sitting on their ass, as you put it. Yes, there are some people that do scam the system, but that's a small amount of people as opposed to the grander scale of people that truly need it.
I've worked my whole life for what I have. I paid for everything. Me and my husband paid for everything we have. Everything. And it's not fabulous. My house isn't fabulous, you can see. Needs a lot of work, but it's mine. And it's paid for.
Congratulations. I mean, kudos to you and your husband and owning your own house. The fact that you guys are able to do it without assistance, even better for you, but I'm really not understanding the negativity coming out right now.
I'm not out here begging nobody for help. I don't get food stamp assistance. I work 65, 70 hours a week.
And you don't see anything wrong with that? The fact that you have to work 65 to 70 hours a week just to make ends meet, not so you can live a lavish lifestyle, because with the amount of hours you're putting in, you should be like living in a better life. I'm not knocking where you're living. I'm just saying, how do you not see that as a problem?
Get off your lazy asses. Stop want people to give you free handouts. We, the taxpayers, don't owe you nor your kids a fucking thing.
Again, you guys are under this misconception that people on SNAP or EBT don't work, when in reality they do. There's a small percent that don't, and there's reasons for that. But there's a small percent that legitimately don't work simply because, yes, they are being lazy. But a majority of people on SNAP and EBT work, and work full-time hours. They just don't make enough to afford a livable life. And they're not asking you, they're asking the federal government that's designed to help them, because that is their job. Did you know that only 1.5% of the budget from the federal government is contributed to assistance programs like that? Meaning next to nothing comes out of your paycheck. What comes out of your check, you don't even recognize it. How are you mad at people on assistance programs, but you're not mad at the federal government for using your money to fund wars, for the president to go play golf, for him to build a fucking ballroom that no one ever asked for?
I never got food stamps. I never got government assistance. Never got government housing. Never got a fucking thing. But, I have white privilege.
That makes a lot more sense now. It's a race then. You somehow think that it's just black people that are on assistance program. Do you know what the breakdown is race-wise when it comes to SNAP or EBT? Like, do you know? I looked it up, but you can, by all means, fact check me. There's 35.4% white people on SNAP or assistance program. There's 25.7% black, 15.6% Hispanic, 3.9% Asian, and 1.3% Native American. Now, if we look at that, white people are more on the SNAP or assistance programs than any other race. But you probably don't care about that because it wouldn't play up to the narrative that you're trying to push.
I've been working since I was 12 years old. Been addicted to drugs. Came out of it. Bought a place. Me and my husband both were addicted to drugs, matter of fact. So there's no excuse for why you're on EBT.
Instead of being proud of yourself for the things you've accomplished and gone through, you're on here bitching and complaining about the things that other people have to deal with. It is not for you to judge people on why they chose to be on SNAP. That has nothing to do with you.
Kids are precious. But it's your responsibility to take care of them. It's not mine. I work my 60 hours a week. I pay my bills. I pay cash for my groceries. What little we do get. You don't hear me bitching?
Yes, we do. That was literally the point of this whole video. It's just you on here throwing a bitch fit at the fact that people aren't happy that they're losing their SNAP benefits. Throwing a whole bitch fit because you have to work to get yours. Kids are precious, but in the same breath, oh, it's not for me to take care of other people's kids. Like, you're just bitching the whole entire video.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed every day. God gives me the strength to get up and keep going.
I don't think it's God that was giving you the strength, because there's no way you could sit there and tout God's name, but then turn around and become such a hateful person. That is on par for you hypocrites. You praise God just so you could turn around and do some of the most heinous and evil things. You praise him and then say some of the most outlandish things.
The only people that should be getting EBT are vets, the elderly, and children under 5.
So kids over 5 can just get fucked? Remember, y'all are always touting protect the kids, but once they turn 5, according to you, fuck them. We don't care. What about the disabled or the mentally handicapped? Like, there are so many people. What about farmers? Because cut and snap hurts them. What about the mom and pop shops? Cut and snap hurts them. Like, there are so many other avenues that get hurt by cut and snap, but you don't care. You don't care because you're just a bitter bitch. That is literally it. You are just beyond bitter.
You want your EBT back? Stop voting for these people you're voting for. The people you keep putting in the White House are the ones that are doing this.
I couldn't agree more. For once, we're actually on the same page, because a lot of recipients of the SNAP program are in red states. It's, again, you can fact check me on this, but y'all are in the red states. You guys have been voting against your own interests. So I hope to God you guys actually start learning from once, to start listening. Stop voting for these people that make this happen to you.
Y'all remember this lady, you know, the one who got on here saying, I don't want to hear about how you're losing your EBT because I don't care. Taxpayers should actually be receiving EBT. I've worked so hard. I'm guessing she deleted it. She posted it last week. I stitched it, and within 24 hours, you guys flooded her video. It was an absolutely asinine like to comment ratio. I think she learned a thing or two about taxpayers and EBT. Someone come get your grandma, and while you're at it, take that ugly ice shirt she has and put it in a Goodwill bin. That's where it belongs. What was sad is there is another video that she has posted. A lot of them really are terrible, but one of them she talks about unethical billionaires, and she's like, you know, there are fraudsters and crooksters all in the White House, Democrats and Republicans. We need to freeze their bank accounts. Where the fuck is my money going to? Keep that energy. If you learn nothing from this, like, you are allowed to question how your taxes are being spent. That is quite literally fair as fuck. But maybe don't pick the, I don't know, $36 a year that you give, and maybe pick the, like, $700 a year you personally give to subsidize large corporations. Like, I don't want my money being sent to Israel. I don't want my money being sent to Argentina. So pick your battles, babe. I'm so fucking heated about this topic.
You know, I'm so sick of hearing that if you get food stamps, you're not supposed to have your hair done. You're not supposed to have your nails done. You're not supposed to have a cell phone. You're not supposed to have nice things. You're supposed to walk around looking raggedy and poor in order for people to know that you deserve to get food stamps. It's ridiculous. Because people getting food stamps, if they was to walk around looking any old kind of way, you'd have something to say about that. Oh, they get food stamps while they walking around looking raggedy. Y'all need to stop. It's like you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Leave people alone.
Y'all sitting here complaining about not getting your food stamp.
Hi, Amanda. I reposted this video for you. No, I didn't leave a like. I left some shitty comments, but I hope you get dragged across the internet today.
You know, the Democrats got the government shut down.
Sorry for the bad lighting, but I just got off work, so about to get a shower. But I know critical thinking isn't really like what Republicans like to do, and I don't like to judge, honestly, but you realize that if the Democrats are still being paid, so are the Republicans. And the government is shut down currently because of the big, beautiful bill. If you would take the time to read that, you would realize how much it actually hurts the American people, especially the elderly, which you seem to be very much so. Maybe try looking up some information, reading some bills, doing something besides watching Fox News. Then you'll be able to get your facts straight. Personally, I would rather my tax dollars go to feeding people.
And pay your own way. Because we the people are tired of paying your way.
Hi, I'm Christy. I'm part of that We the People group that you're talking about. Don't fucking speak for me because I am not tired of paying $36 a fucking year to help people eat. $36. That's it. That's all the average taxpayer puts forth a year towards SNAP benefits. That's right. You all are hating people over 36 fucking dollars a year. I too own my home. I own my vehicles. I own the 12 acres of land that I live on. And you know what? I'm glad I do because that gives me more of an opportunity to help other people. I cannot imagine having what I have and not doing what I can to fucking help other people. I went grocery shopping yesterday. If you're in North Georgia and you're hungry, come to my house. I'll cook you a meal. Hell, I'll even fucking cash app you the $36 back. Like, I can't imagine. Cannot imagine somebody having what I have and not wanting to share that and not wanting to fucking help people that are about to possibly die. All this hate over 36 fucking dollars a year from your pocket. You know, I may be an atheist, but I pray to God I never, ever get to a point where I say, fuck other people.
Been addicted to drugs, came out of it.
Okay, so you were addicted to drugs and you came out of it. And I'm assuming that you probably went to rehab. I'm assuming you didn't just quit cold turkey. And when you were addicted to drugs, I'm sure you didn't have a job. I'm sure you didn't have a pot to fucking piss in, because most drug addicts don't, right? And I'm sure you probably were in the hospital a few times because you were addicted to drugs, possibly homeless. I don't know. I can't judge you because I don't know you. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know where you've been. I think it's great that you came out of it, and your husband being addicted to drugs, that he came out of it. I think that's awesome. But for those rehabs or whatever helped you come out of it, because you didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to stop using drugs. I'm going to get my life together. Yeah, I mean, maybe you did, but you didn't just stop using drugs by yourself. You got help, right? You had to get help. I don't know a drug dealer, a drug addict in the world that has ever just quit drugs cold turkey without help. You know who paid for that? You know who funded that? The taxpayers. You're welcome. And you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy that my tax dollars can go towards helping somebody else who might feel like they're in an impossible situation, in a situation that they don't think they can get out of. You know, like drug rehab centers or counselors or therapists or hospitals or medications, you know, all those programs that help drug addicts recover from being addicted to drugs. Yeah, I'm happy about that. I'm not here to judge. And who are you to sit up here and judge somebody that doesn't make enough money to feed their family, and so they look to the government to help them feed their families because they too might feel like it's impossible. They too might feel like, dang, I wish I could get a better job. Dang, I wish my job would pay me more. Gosh, I have all these bills and I don't know what to do. How do you know that, you know, all these people who are on EBT, maybe they're disabled. Maybe there's people who are sick and can't work. Did you ever think of that? Why are you guys so pressed about your tax dollars going to programs to help Americans, United States citizens, but you don't have a problem with your tax dollars going to help people in other countries? You don't care about your tax dollars going to fund wars and fund other countries with weapons of mass destruction and nuclear bombs and whatever. Like, Why do you not have a problem with that? So just to give you guys the backstory, this lady got on TikTok and started, she did the same thing the food stamp lady did, talking about how she never got any help from the government, which she did, obviously, because I just broke that down. But like, she sat up there and talked about how she's never gotten any help, and she came in so many words, I came from the bottom, now I'm here, which is nowhere. She talked about how she's got a little rinky dink ran down trailer, but it's hers, and I commend you for that. And I'm not judging you, like, at all. I'm not judging her, because everybody has to come from somewhere. We don't know her circumstances or what happened, but who are you to judge? Who is she to judge? And she's sitting here talking about people on food stamps and how they should get off their lazy asses because she don't want her tax money, her tax dollars paying for these people to feed their families, because they should just get off their asses and go get a job. Well, maybe when you were a drug addict, maybe other payers should have been saying, no, I don't want to fund her her drug habit. I don't want to fund her rehab. She should have never started doing drugs. She should have never did that. What if taxpayers would have said that to you, ma'am? You would probably be dead somewhere. So it's just so mind blowing how people can sit up here and judge somebody else's situation when they got freaking skeletons in their closet. Like, and you sat up here and just admitted that you were a drug addict and that you came out of it. And that's great. And these people who are living in poverty or are barely making it, I'm sure they'll come out of it too. I was on food stamps when I was younger, and I was working. I was going to school. I went and got an associate's degree. I got a bachelor's degree. I now own 2 businesses, and I work for my brother, and I help him run his business. Food stamps helped me. I came out of it. Thank you to the taxpayers who helped me come out of it back when the United States actually was great and Republicans and Democrats could work together for the good of the people who put them in their positions.
I've had it. I will make this short, but I've so had it with everybody bitching and moaning about people that are on EBT. This woman in particular, like a lot of them, has no idea what she's talking about. The government is shut down because the Democrats are desperately trying to save your butts just as much as they're trying to save everybody else's from paying skyrocketing rates for medical insurance. It has nothing to do with the illegals. Nothing. I don't know about you, lady, but I can't afford over $4,000 a month for insurance. Based on what you show that you live in, I'm assuming you can't either. So, where are you getting your insurance from right now? You getting it from an employer, or are you going through the ACA? Or are you getting it through the state? Because those are your 3 options. Or you don't have insurance at all, in which case the rest of us are paying for your medical care, right? So, as far as the EBT, when I was a young mom, I also got EBT. And I worked a full-time job. That was back when we had to use Monopoly money, and it was grossly humiliating to walk into a store and try and buy food. And, we didn't have cell phones back then, so you had your little scratch piece of paper while you're buying your food and going through, and you knew how much of your little Monopoly money you had, and we didn't have change. You didn't have Monopoly money change, so you had to round up, and then they would round down so that everything equaled the dollar, right? So you either lost money or you didn't. But you had your little scratch piece of paper, and you had to write down exactly how much everything cost, and you had to add it all up so you didn't make sure that it, in the line while you're already humiliated, that you had to embarrass yourself further by telling the cashier to put stuff back, right? So anyway, most of the people on EBT are working, and they don't have 12 kids or whatever it is that you were claiming. They have 1 or 2. I'm sure there are some out there that have more, so we'll be generous and do an average of 5. But regardless, they are working. And I don't think you understand how much daycare costs. I'm assuming it's not something you ever had to pay for. It's very expensive, and you got a lot of single moms out there with one child, not 12, one, okay, that are working, and they're getting EBT because their minimum wage job isn't enough to pay for food and rent and insurance and whatever else that's going on, and they don't have fancy cars and whatever else. Okay, what a lot of people are not realizing is that a lot of these the single moms in particular, if they're on EBT, they're also getting assistance with paying for daycare because they can't afford it. So I assume they're going to lose that assistance as well. Nobody's talking about that. They're talking about EBT and they're talking about health insurance right now because those are the the two big buzzwords. But I don't think anybody's talking about daycare or the very nominal amounts that people are getting for welfare to maybe help cover the cost of their electricity bills or whatever else. So for the single moms that, again, don't have 12 kids, they have a couple of kids that are getting some help with daycare. If they lose that help, what do you think's going to happen then? They don't have anybody to watch their kids. What are they going to do? They got to quit their job, right? Or they're going to get fired because who's going to watch their kids, right? You people all expect them to work 2 and 3 freaking jobs. How do you think they're going to have one job if they lose the help with the daycare? And then what do you think is going to happen to the daycares that are in the areas where the vast majority of the children that they're getting are being subsidized by whatever government system they're being subsidized by? What do you think is going to happen to them? And then what happens to those employees that are working in the daycare that are already not making very much money and realistically are on the same EBT program as the single mothers that are coming in there? What do you think is going to happen to them? What's going to happen to all of these people that are working, but they're not making enough money to pay the bills, right? Everybody all wants to complain because there's all these homeless people. What do you think is going to happen to all these people when they lose their jobs and they can't pay their rent? I don't, you guys are so ridiculous. It's not even funny. I have cancer. What's making me post this even is that there's another gal, and I'm 6 minutes into this, and I didn't want it to be this long because nobody watches these when they're this long. I also have cancer. What made me do this video is watching another gal that I follow who has cancer talk about it. I'm working currently. I have been the whole time. Yay me, because I need my freaking health insurance, right? I am fortunate enough for now to be healthy enough to do that. At some point I won't be. So then what? Fuck me? You have cancer and you can't work, screw you. I mean, what? Seriously? It doesn't, you people don't even, what's going to happen to any of you that end up in that situation? What happens when you get in a car accident or something happens to you? You guys are insufferable. And it's infuriating to me that it's going to take generations to fix the damage that you're all causing. Generations. It's not going to be the woman I'm stitching right now that's going to pay for all this BS, or me, or anybody else that's Generation X or older. It's the kids. It's the young adults that are now sucked into this mess and have no way to get out of it. We did that to them. We've done that. Those of you who voted for him and those of you that didn't vote at all, you did this. So be proud of yourself. And lady, just because you're not getting assistance doesn't mean jack. Being what, $1 over the poverty line, I'm assuming you are. That's the way my mom was, right? She didn't get any help either because she was like, $1, $5 over the poverty line. So we had to, go to different businesses and get pallets to heat her house because she couldn't afford the oil. She went to the food bank. She stood in line and humiliated herself and did all of the things that she had to do to try and support and raise 2 kids because our dad was a piece of shit and didn't pay his child support, and like a lot of them are, right? So, yay for you. You got through it. So did she. Barely.
Well, this is Amanda, and she made some pretty nasty comments looking down on people on EBT. And I want to say this, we all need to have some humility. And whether we agree with EBT or not, we have to understand that everyone is not in our same situation. We are all a doctor's visit, a car accident, a job loss away from needing that same EBT. So we need to be humble and have some humility. And if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say it at all, And her account has been banned on TikTok. I don't know if that was due to this situation, but her account has been banned. So I could not get the original video because they coming for that woman hard on TikTok. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe, like, share, and join the channel as well. And I'll see you on the next one. Foodie gang gang gang. Foodie gang gang gang.